I think Mike Wilson put it best when he said bear markets are meant to confuse you, and you can be very much confused at what's going on in a bear market. And I think that is what's happening with this market. That's why we're seeing such erratic trading. That's why we're seeing a tremendously red down day yesterday. That's why we're seeing a tremendously green day today immediately after that. A lot of things, but when you really start doing some work, and we're going to share and read some things, read some earnings that came out today, late earnings, which is nice because it comes with revised full year adjusted EPS guidance as of today, which we haven't heard in a while from a pretty important company. We can see that the picture's a little different. And if we connect several dots, if we're really focusing on everything here, we can see how it all kind of makes sense. You look at consumer sentiment. Yes, it was very strong. The market, again, was very confused about this. Initially, in the preceding seconds after it, it rallied. Consumer confidence, who doesn't want to see that? And then it remembered, wait, we just got this tremendously strong consumer confidence reading. And tomorrow we've got 3 very hawkish central bank chair people talking, and one not so hawkish in Japan, but they're suffering some currency problems. And they're probably going to realize that they have made a mistake at some point and probably are going to have to flip. They don't want to do that. If they don't flip, they're going to end up like Turkey. Okay, and that hasn't worked out so well. So my assumption is they're gonna come to their senses, but Japan's not that important to us, honestly. Anyways, Fed member Barkin last Friday after the close talked about how rising asset prices and fiscal spending were making it more difficult for monetary policy to take its effects. Let's not forget, Jerome Powell and the Fed's interpretation of inflation thus far is that it hasn't budged because he said at the last FOMC meeting that despite the hiking, core PCE hasn't budged. ECB today saying core inflation is getting stronger and stronger. That's just the reality of the situation in the view of the Fed's eyes. That, I think, is the rising asset prices and the seeing the stock market green, I think has more to do with consumer sentiment readings, the idea that unemployment's low, the thoughts that wages are up. These kinds of things have more to do with unemployment than with consumer sentiment readings. Then what we're seeing here in Walgreens' revised full-year adjusted EPS guidance. This is a greater than 10% revision, from $4.45 to $4.65 per share expected for full year 2024, their fiscal year, to $4 to $4.05. They mention that the consumer is weakening somewhat, slowing down. This isn't just a fall in earnings backward looking. This is an adjustment to guidance. They are seeing macroeconomic forward view, or a more cautious macroeconomic forward view. Ultimately, I think the market is viewing us as having completed the late stage of the business cycle and now entering into the early stage of the business cycle. And I think we've only really just entered the late stage of the business cycle. The middle stage of the business cycle is the economy. Okay, fine. Last year we had the transition from the middle stage to the late stage business cycle. That being inflation picks up, the economy overheats, the Fed gets off its initial early monetary policy and begins to tighten the economy. Okay, I will grant you that last year transition towards late cycle. But I don't think the late cycle is over. And no, the market, yes, of course we know early cycle will come at some point, but just because it is in the future does not mean that the market can just bottom and buy the future on that. No. Late cycle, damage has to be done. It has to play out. Last year's damage, most of it was done in the first half of the year, honestly. I get the low came in October, but it came very quick. It was just a quick shot back up. Most of the damage was done in the first half. We were not in economic tightening or really anything in the first half. Of course there wasn't a recession. Last year the Fed started to hike interest rates, but now, and just now, they've begun to get into restrictive territory. Once they get into restrictive territory, it's going to take some time for the full effects of that to play out. So, no, I don't think we've seen the full effects of the tightening. I don't think we've seen the maximum effects on the economy. I don't think we've completed the late stage of the business cycle and are now entering a new early stage of the business cycle. That's not what I think. I look at this Walgreens thing. I see this. Okay, this is more exposed to the lower end consumer. But wait, while you're talking about revised Walgreens earnings, didn't Delta Airlines today revise up 23 earnings and keep 24 flat? Yes, they did. But this brings us right back to the first point when we were talking about Barkin, Fed member Barkin, talking about asset prices. Delta Airlines CEO said 75% of the industries, the airline industries, consumers make $100,000 or more per year. That's where 25% or 75% of their earnings come from, aka rich people. And he said these consumers added $25 trillion in net worth since 2019. That's a lot. Airline prices have gone up a lot. That's been a big part of inflation. Now let's compare that to what Barkin said. Airfare prices, and a component of inflation, and who knows what else the rich people are affecting. He doesn't like that asset prices have gone up so much. Rich people who travel, and apparently travel the most, they want to keep traveling. I don't know if that is boding well for inflation. So I don't want to exceed the Fed's dot plot. But for a market that hasn't been accepting of them, has been trying to fight them, has been trying to just go all the way in bullish, I think that is very incorrect. I think that is very, very incorrect. And today is one day. Today is one day. Yesterday was one day. We talked about, yes, we did see fundamental reasons for this pullback to continue, but we weren't ready to celebrate yet. Today is one day. Let's see what happens tomorrow from a collection of central banks. That will certainly be interesting, in my opinion. Definitely worth watching. We'll see what happens. And until tomorrow's video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you. Peace out.